All right, welcome back to my channel. The few people that do watch my channel, I know that I haven't uploaded in quite a while on my channel, Deconstructing Narcissism, but I will be uploading a lot more frequently. But with how work has been, that's kind of the reason why my uploading has been so infrequent, I guess you could say. But I wanted to talk about, because I was thinking about making a new series on my channel about the narcissistic baby boomer generation. Yep. A lot of people, some people love them, some people hate them. There's, I don't know, always kind of been like a war, I guess, between the millennials, Gen Xers, and the baby boomers. And well, not one, but many debates on their horrible impact upon the economy and why we're in the mess we're in right now and how bad things have gotten. But I wanted to talk about how the title of this video is going to be Narcissistic Baby Boomer Generation. The boomer refuses to acknowledge anything that they've done wrong whatsoever. The baby boomer, not all of them, but a lot of them, the baby boomer generation is riddled, absolutely riddled with fucking narcissism. Absolutely riddled with narcissism. For some reason, they just refuse to accept any kind of accountability or responsibility for anything. Regardless of, I'm not even talking about like the economy. I'm talking about if you were raised by a narcissistic baby boomer parent, the baby boomer, you would know, because your narcissistic baby boomer parent will probably do one of three things. They will either not acknowledge something that happened and try to sweep it under the rug. They will acknowledge that something happened and say, well, you made me do this, or, well, I only did this because you did that. Or they will give you a half-assed apology with a, I'm sorry you feel that way, or I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings, but you did this and that, or I'm sorry that you're hurting, or if I did anything wrong, then I'm sorry. You will never get... Listen to me. I recently regrettably had a talk. What set this all off was I regrettably had a talk with my narcissistic mother on the phone. After 2 years trying to mend the relationship, I had called her because my friend, who I told many times not to mention my family, he doesn't seem to understand. That's another thing that most outsiders don't seem to understand narcissism at all. They don't seem to understand narcissism. If they do, they understand narcissism in its simplest form. With, the narcissism is just when you're obsessed with yourself. Oh, yeah, it's just an obsession with yourself. No, narcissism is a personality disorder that can't be fixed with medicine. There's no therapy that can go. There's nothing a therapist or psychologist or anybody can do to fix somebody who has narcissistic personality disorder. Because the problem with people who have narcissistic personality disorder, the number one thing that people have with narcissists, the number one thing narcissists refuse to do is they refuse to accept consequences, accountability, responsibility. Or most of the time they refuse to accept accountability. But they definitely almost always refuse to accept responsibility. That is why you can't fix a narcissist, because a narcissist never thinks they do anything wrong to begin with. So imagine you have someone in your life, a narcissistic baby boomer parent, or you have a friend in your life that refuses to. They could do the most heinous things. They could scream at you. They could yell at you. They could slap you in the face, steal all your money, beat you over the head with a bat, and they either don't acknowledge it or refuse to accept consequences or say it was your fault in some kind of way. That is what a narcissist is. A narcissist is someone who has built this false self, this false persona when they were young. Most likely, it usually happens when they were young. They build this false persona of themselves, and anybody can become a narcissist. Anybody can become a narcissist. There are a multitude of ways somebody becomes a narcissist. It could be through really shitty parenting. Maybe they were abused, or it could be they were put on a pedestal their whole life, so they think they deserve everything in the world. The only thing that matters is them. There are a lot of ways somebody could become a narcissist, but it usually happens in early childhood. And the narcissist makes this false persona of themselves. They look at themselves and they tell themselves, I'm never going to be treated like this again. Nothing's ever going to be my fault. They build this, okay, that's kind of a bad example, but they build this false persona, and this persona protects the false self. So the narcissist has never had a personality. So from childhood, they built this false persona of themselves, and literally, if someone were to break this false persona, it would devastate the narcissist. It would ruin the narcissist. The narcissist has to protect the false persona, the false self that they have built for themselves, because they don't have a real, genuine, true personality. And the reason they don't have a genuine, true personality is because they can't feel empathy. They have no conscience. They don't understand right from wrong. They can't admit fault. They can't admit fault when it comes to anything. They are incapable of keeping friends, and the ones they do keep aren't really friends. They're just people to manipulate. The only thing that matters in the mind of a narcissist is themselves, and the world is their oyster. And then in the mind of the narcissist, the world is their oyster, and they go around and manipulate and do whatever they need to do to get what's called narcissistic supply, which is attention. They need attention. That's the number one thing, is what the narcissist needs. The narcissist needs attention, or called narcissistic supply. And if they can't get that, they will literally go into a rage. This is what the narcissist needs: narcissistic supply. If the narcissist does not get narcissistic supply, then they go into a full-blown meltdown. They think everyone should be bending at the waist, kissing their feet, worshiping the ground they walk on daily. Anyway, so if you have a narcissistic parent, I kind of got off track. If you have a narcissistic parent, then you probably know or understand the feeling of your narcissistic parent never being able to acknowledge or accept or refusing to take accountability or responsibility for anything. So this all happened. I decided to call my narcissistic mother after 2 years, because my friend had called me and told me that my mom had made a scene at his work, came into his work, started bawling his eyes out, making a scene, saying that she had money for me, this and that, and all I had to do was call her up and go over there and talk to her and try to mend this relationship. I don't want the money. You should never take the money from the narcissist, because the narcissist never gives you anything without strings attached. But I guess, I don't really know, I guess where I'm going with this video is, I called up my narcissistic mother and I tried to, for some reason, I tried to mend the relationship. I tried to explain where things went wrong, explain some of her behaviors, explain some things that she recently did that I really didn't like, and I told her multiple times that I didn't like, and I got the same apology as I've always had. If I did anything to hurt you, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry your feelings are hurt. I'm sorry this. I'm sorry that. But you made me do it. This and that. If you were raised, this last phone call that I had with my narcissistic mother proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that she is indeed a narcissist. And if this sounds like your mom or your dad or your uncle, your aunt or your friend, if they refuse to take any kind of accountability whatsoever, or if they refuse to see your side or accept that they did anything wrong, chances are this person is either a full-blown narcissist or very narcissistic in general, and you need to cut them out of your life immediately. But I just wanted to express how disappointed I am in the baby boomer generation. It just seems like so many of them are they're goddamn awful fucking parents. And I feel like if I was dropped off into the wilderness and raised by a feral dog, I would have been better raised than if I had been with my narcissistic parents, living with them for 18 plus years. And you know, it's really sad that this baby boomer generation, it's really frustrating, their refusal to accept any kind of consequences whatsoever, take any kind of accountability for anything, recognize when they've done wrong and try to assess and fix a situation. They just don't want to do it. They just, either they see it and they don't think they've done anything wrong, which I think in most cases that's what happens, or they don't see it and or they just forget about it. But I think what happens is most of these narcissistic baby boomer parents, they recognize when they've done wrong, and I do believe that some of them may have guilt. I do believe some of them may feel guilty for it, but you'll never get my point is, you'll never get a sincere apology out of a narcissist, especially a narcissistic baby boomer. The most that they'll do is give you gifts. They'll give, a lot of them, what my parents do is they'll try to give me gifts. They'll try to give me money. You know, they have told me, oh, we have, you know, they'll just, we'll help you with this, we'll help you with that, a house, we'll give you $100,000, whatever it is. The narcissist will always try to give you gifts or money as a way to sweep things under the rug and, you know, make the slate clean and try to start over with you. But don't you accept anything from the narcissist, because your anger and your rage and the feeling that you feel inside of you, the desperation of being in a narcissistic relationship for a really long time or being raised by narcissistic parents, you know that feeling. You know it's genuine. You know what you went through, regardless of the gaslighting, regardless of the narcissist telling you that never happened. Trust your gut. Trust your instincts. Trust that you experienced what you did. And all I can say is try to move forward in the best way you can. Try to move forward in the best way possible. Because I know a lot of you out there are hurting. A lot of you that have narcissistic people in your life or had narcissistic people in your life for a really long time, or were raised by the typical narcissistic baby boomer, or had two narcissistic baby boomer parents. I understand your pain. I recognize your pain, and I just want to say that I'm still dealing with this. I've been dealing with this for years now. I've gone through therapy, but the therapist only understands narcissism so much. Even if they had narcissistic parents themselves, even if they had, you know, alcoholic parents, the therapist is only going to get you so far. I mean, I honestly think the best therapy is listening to the people that have been raised by narcissistic parents, and going on forums like Reddit / raised by narcissistic parents. They have if you go to the Reddit forum and you type in the raised by narcissist, they have all these different threads and stuff like that that you can go on, and you can comment down below on there, and you can empathize with people, and you can share your story, and it could be a really good healing outlet for some. I know that it helped me a lot. I know that before I met one of my friends, her name is Melissa. Those are the forums that I was on a lot of the time, and I would go on to different threads and things like that, make my own threads, post about my own experiences with my narcissistic parents. you know, comment on other people's threads, things like that. But yeah, guys, I'm home, back from the gym. I don't really have anything else to say besides that. But I just want to let you know, all of you out there that are struggling with narcissistic relationships and have been for years upon years upon years, and maybe you're in a financially abusive situation with your narcissistic parents or a narcissistic spouse or a friend or whatever, and you can't get out because he's controlling the finances or she's controlling the finances or whatever, and it's really difficult for you to get out. The only tip I can really give you is I had to go homeless. And that's the honest truth, is I had to recognize I didn't have the money. I had to recognize that it was never going to get better, and I was never going to be able to hold a job in that environment. So I did what I had to do, and I went homeless. And that might not be the best situation for everybody, especially if you have kids or you're pregnant or and expecting, but that's what I had to do, guys. So anyway, once again, I just wanted to say I empathize with everybody out there that have been in relationships for many years, in narcissistic relationships where I had narcissistic people in their life that genuinely ruined their life. I sympathize and I empathize with all of you. And like I said, I will start uploading videos a lot more frequently. But until next time, guys, this has been Deconstructing Narcissism, and I'm going to go inside. It is freezing. All right, take care, guys.